What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out to all my subscribers. Alien Army standing tall, raising up, and hit that like button in those comments and drop those alien faces, those little spaceships, and everything else. Gotta actually adjust my seat a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, but nonetheless, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I am homeless. I do ask that you hit the like button and drop a comment. That really does help out my small channel. I'm sure that you guys already know that helps out the algorithm. Just to give you an idea, every 10 likes and 10 comments I get, my video gets shown out to about 100 people. However, that doubles if I get 100 likes. So if I get 100 likes and 100 comments, instead of it being sent out to 1,000 people, it actually goes to 2,000 people. So I ask, you know, if you can, run those numbers up to 100 each. That would really help my channel out. So before I jump into today's video, which is homelessness is a choice, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna put a question mark because I don't want it to be a statement or a rhetorical statement. We'd like to talk about updates. So people that have been following along, you know that I'm homeless, living in a car, and they also know I've been trying to get back into truck driving because I haven't driven for a year, you know, a little bit over a year actually. However, I do have a good experience, so you know, whatnot. So I've been trying to go with a mega carrier. I've been losing weight so that I could go ahead and pass their DOT physical and not do a stupid sleep apnea machine test. Also, so I could pass their stupid agility test, which all that does is, you know, literally cuts their liability down, and trucking companies profit off that stuff. So anyways, I've been doing good with all that stuff. So yesterday I go ahead and actually fill out, it's not the full application, it's a short form. So I did find a company that I was interested in. They actually did have a dedicated route that I was interested in as well. I wasn't stuck on that dedicated route, like I had to have it, but it looked pretty good. But more important than all that stuff is you know, like, you know, I was hoping that, I'm not stuck on that route. However, you know, if they tell me that they're cool and we can figure something out down the road for something dedicated, because I did listen to the comments. All the comments were saying, don't do OTR, do Midwest regional, do something dedicated, or at least dedicated lanes or dedicated customers and whatnot. And I really don't like OTR, you know, but I listened to you guys' comments, so I did find something like that, right? The bad part of all that is, so I filled out a short form application, and they called me. I've already talked to recruiters before, but once you put a short form application in, that's where it goes through the main carrier, and then you'll actually get a recruiter who's going to talk to you and, you know, like call you and try to set things up. So I got a call yesterday after sending the short form thing. They called me in like within 2 hours, so I was impressed. Normally it's the next day, you know. They go ahead and call. When they call me, we're talking, and basically I told them, I was like, I need a refresher course since it's been over a year. Said that there was no trainers. And I said, oh, so you're saying that there's no trainers for just a refresher course in all of Midwest, even though I'm willing to travel out of state? He said, correct. I said, how about out west towards California, or even at California? How about to New York? How about anywhere in the United States that you guys have a terminal at, that I'll drive my car over there and stuff like that? He's like, the best I can do is put your name on a list. So even me willing to drive to California, or you know, far west, let's say it was Arizona, let's say it was Washington, let's say it was Oregon, let's say it was Texas, let's say it was New Mexico, let's say it was Nebraska, let's say it was Iowa, let's say it was PA, let's say it was New York, let's say it was you know, Maine, let's say it was Boston, you know, Massachusetts, you know, let's say it was anywhere in the United States. I'm willing to go ahead and travel and help you. If you said that you don't have any Midwest, where about everywhere else? Let's do it, right? Best thing you could do is put my name on the list. He was really trying to talk to me about the dedicated. He's like, honestly, we don't even have this dedicated anymore, and I don't know why it's listed on the website. I said, that's not a big deal. I said, I'm underneath the impression that once I get my foot in the door and I'm going through orientation with you guys, that I'll have a chance to talk to the dispatcher, and it doesn't have to be anything like what I just said right now. I said it could change in a moment. I said we don't need to do that. And then of course he's like, you know, are you okay with staying out 21 days instead of every 2 weeks? I said that's something that I'd be open to, and I'm not really looking to get home time right away. I go, I really need to make money, and I really need to get back in the saddle. I said, however, I want to be responsible. I need a refresher course. And then he said, when he said that whole thing about, you know, there are no, this is a mega carrier, just let you know, like they're really big. I don't want to say their name because my name is supposedly on the list. Nonetheless, man, I almost forgot my point. He said, he's like, well, with your experience and everything, he's like, We can put you in a truck as long as you pass a road test. That's all that's required. Can you pass a road test? And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. I could pass a road test. However, on my very first dispatch, if I got dispatched right after that, the level of my nervousness and me not feeling comfortable in the truck will conspire. I go, I want to be responsible and I want to be mature about this. I haven't driven in a little bit over a year, and on top of that, I need the feel of the truck. I go, I'm not worried about backing. I'm not worried about driving straight. I need to be able to sit back in there and let some of this stuff come back to me. Reading the road by sitting up on the tractor. What a left, you know, getting used to doing the left and right hand turns again. You know, stuff like that. Wouldn't take a whole lot. You know, and I said, if you don't have any trainers and like that, I said, do you got anybody in terminals that, you know, let's say they're yard dogs. Let's say that they're doing local, just local deliveries. You throw me in one of those guys' trucks and you don't even have to pay me. That I just, you know, let me get used to it a little bit if you don't have any trainers. They said, can't do that because they all have to have, be certified trainers. You know, they have to have that. And nobody's willing to do that. So with all the backward stuff that I know that goes on with trucking, you're saying that I can't jump in a local dude's truck and drive? Like, if I'm good enough to go, you know, what if I, you know, like, where can you meet me halfway? How about I go do a road test so you know that I'm good, and then you can put me underneath the insurance, and then you just let me do some local deliveries with a local driver in wherever, and you know, we switch off and just, you know, let me get my feet wet a little bit. Let me build a little bit more confidence up instead of like, hey, you haven't driven for a year and a half. Here you go. Also, we can't get you interdedicated, and we want you to take this all the way to New York City or something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? This is, and then also you're trying to sound like he was trying to bullshit me. I could be wrong on what he was saying about freight. He's like, freight's really, really, really hard to come by nowadays. And I'm like, no, that's the first I've heard of it. I go, the last thing I really heard is when diesel was, you know, over $6-7 a gallon, there wasn't much money being made, and a lot of people, especially owner and operators, they shut it down. And then the mega carriers, you know, for them to make, you know, what they want to make, they started, you know, lowering the prices of the drivers, you know, and maybe you weren't making as much, but why is the cost of freight affect me if I'm a company driver? You're supposed to be competitive now. You know, what is this, you know, 30-40 cents per mile? You know, let's get closer to 60 cents a mile and above, especially if you're requiring a 1 year of experience, of verified experience. You know what I'm saying? So don't want to get into it too much with this. I understand that I wanted to update my Alien Army, all my subscribers. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I'm not sure if I said it or not. I am homeless. I do live in my car. I am having a hard time with you know, stuff. I do work. I do Uber Eats and DoorDash. So another thing real quick on the update is yeah, I've been basically just sleeping in my car and doing it all day and moving zones, and I was able to by the luck of everything, I was able to replace my 2 back tires. And if you know anything about cars, tires do cost, you know, you don't cheap out on tires. You don't cheap out on tires, you don't cheap out on brakes. You know, those are the, you know, 2 major things. That and always do your oil change. So I've been doing all that, and I know the videos have been coming. You know, I used to do it every single day. I'm going to try to get back into that stuff, or at least a few videos a week. Not this, you know, no two weeks. You know, like, you know, 2 videos in 1 week type thing. I'm going to aim for once a day content moving forward. I need 300 more hours on my YouTube to actually monetize it. So if this is your first time watching a video, or if I have videos that you've never watched before, please watch that, and please subscribe. So now I'm going to jump into the actual topic of this video. Homelessness is a choice. I think so. Is homelessness a choice to some people? Do some people choose to be it? I'm sure that there's exceptions to the rules, and people do that. There's people that openly admit saying that this was their choice. I, however, feel like it's more often than not, it being homelessness is a consequence, and the consequence isn't always your fault. You know, let's say, for example, you got really, really sick. You know, did you do something to make yourself sick? Did you create that illness and get yourself sick? You know, most people, you know, think 70% of people don't even have $1,000 in your savings account. You know, is that your, you know, was it your choice to become homeless because you didn't save enough? You know, is it your fault that the prices of gas is jumping back up? At least that's what I'm seeing. You know, is it your fault that food costs more money now? Is it your fault that you you know, the strength of the dollar isn't what it once was? You know, is it your fault that you know, is it your choice that you know, buying food, buying gas, you know, interest rates, you know, all that kind of stuff, and your, you know, your amount of money isn't enough, and you fall on hard times and you just didn't save enough? Is it, you know, is it your fault? I mean, I can't call it like that, you know. I know that those are consequences. You know, let's say, for example, your wife left you and she took you to the doghouse, man. You know, yeah, you did choose to marry her, but did you choose for her to be vindictive and do all that kind of stuff? No. Do people change? Yeah, people change. Some people do. Some people a lot of people become very hateful and very vindictive. You really don't know how somebody's going to act until they are really pissed off, especially when it comes to, you know, a woman or somebody who's, you know, just got a really black heart, man. You know, you never know, and they don't owe you to be nice. I think it's the right thing to do, but I live in a world where I see mostly people doing wrong things. You know, I do the right thing, and every time I do the right thing, it always hurts me, man. You know, I got videos on it, and is that going to make me change who I am? No. I'm going to do the right thing for myself, whether I'm being watched or not. So I think it's more of a consequence. You know, if you decide that, you know what, I'm not going to work and I'm going to play video games all day, you are choosing not to work, and the consequence of that is you're not going to be able to pay for your rent or your mortgage, and you will be out on your ass. If you know, I also believe that there's at least two sets of, you know, two types of prisons. One where you can see the bars, and the other one where you can't. And there's a lot of obstacles out there. In my opinion, that are out there to hurt us more than there is to help us. However, instead of, you know, playing the blame game and pointing at it and getting really pissed off and stuff like that, it just means it's more of a challenge for you. You gotta find ways to get over it, and I've been going through that myself, and I stay positive by you know, instead of going, man, if it wasn't for this, I'd be okay. No, there's a lot of stuff. There's myself. If I know that that's an obstacle, I need to go ahead and move away from there. You know, like I need to develop a system to go over that obstacle, or where that obstacle doesn't even be, you know, pose a problem. You know, things like that. And it's a lot easier said than done. It's not something I can do right away. And it's probably something that you can't do right away either. If you only have $1,000 saved up and you know that things can happen really bad, you know, I know for a fact, to stop homelessness, in my opinion, you have to prevent it from even happening. And you know, the way that you do that is by having a lot of programs out there, or a lot of avenues. And there's really not that much. You know, a lot of people go, hey, if you're homeless, it is a choice because all you have to do is get a job. I have a job. I got 2 jobs. I actually signed up for a lot of apps, so technically I have more than that. But I really run Uber Eats and DoorDash. I don't make enough to rent anything worth living in. I've destroyed my credit. By me destroying my credit, and I thought that I could get ahead. It's kind of like gambling a little bit, right? The person who gambles, I'm sure, thinks, you know, that once they hit it, they can fix everything. I was kind of that way with my credit cards when, you know, towards the end of before moving out my apartment. It's like, okay, I just need to find something that I can, you know. I didn't want to become homeless. I didn't want to live in my car. I think that's where it comes down to is you know, if I believe the way that we can figure out if homelessness is a choice is we walk up to every single homeless person and say $10 million, or let's say, for example, it's $100 million, like a real big amount. Let's walk up to every homeless person and say $100 million, or you living on the streets. What do you think they're going to choose? You know, Joey the Gypsy says that it's a choice, and you know, he's mature and he's a, you know, cool dude. I've subscribed to him and stuff like that. But I wonder what he would say if somebody's like 100 million or what you're doing right now. At that point, is it still your choice? If you say I don't want the 100 million, I'm good where I'm at right now, then I would go ahead and say, yeah, you being homeless is your choice now because you just got offered $100 million. And let's say that you know, just to break away from everything, that 100 million is not taxable. It is what you get. Can you live the rest of your life on $100 million? Absolutely. But let's say, for example, you're on the streets. You know, if somebody offered you, you know, in most cases, you know, $20,000 to be homeless, somebody will grab that 20 grand. You know what I'm saying? But let's do something really crazy where you know that you never have to work ever again in your life. Let's say it was $1 billion, or be homeless. You know, do I see billionaires saying that they're going to be homeless? No. Could they do the car life? Yeah. Can they do van life? Of course. Can they do the RV life or whatever? Right? Yeah. In my opinion, if you have that amount of money and you're living in a car, in my opinion, homelessness is where it's not just where, like, whether you're sleeping on the street or tent city or an open market or in the back of your car or whatever, right? It's the day-to-day things that you have to do, that you are striving to get out of the situation or to improve the situation you're in. If you already have millions of dollars and you live in a car, you don't need to go through the dumpsters or the trash cans for recyclables. In fact, you're not going to 99% of the time, right? You know, if you are hungry, you have a credit card or you have money to go buy food right then and there. You know what I mean? You don't need fast food or canned food. You can go get lobster. Your struggle and your experience is going to be totally different than mine and yours and a lot of people. And I think it's because you have the choice of getting out of it at any time, and not only getting out of it any time, that you could get yourself out. So when a lot of people say, you know, I choose to be homeless because I do have a family member that says I can stay with them, I just have to get clean. You know, let's say, for example, that was the case where someone needed to get clean to go ahead and live there. You know, they have an addiction, and a lot of people say those are diseases and stuff like that. Maybe they, at that point, they're choosing that, but do they really have a choice if they're that addicted and they're diseased? I can't call it. I have no idea. I don't drink or do any of that stuff, so I have no idea. You know, I know that if it was something like get clean and you don't have to, you know, stay with anybody, and you'll be self-sufficient and you're reliable, here's $100 million or here's $1 billion, go ahead and you know, do what you got to do. I believe that they would, you know, I believe that they would have a, you know, they would roll out, you know, and that's the way that I am as well. Somebody came and said $100 million to continue living how you're living, Helen, living in a car, living in the hood, living at truck stops, and documenting and talking about some really crazy stories that goes on in the hood there, and putting your perspective on stuff, and really calling it the way that it's not just the way I call it. I call it exactly how I see it. You know, it's not a fun life, man. You know, I stay positive. I don't, you know, stay on the downside of it. Do I want this? No. You know, I want to be able to cure you know, homelessness in America. I want to do things to impact people in a positive way that changes their lives. I want to be able to be the rags to riches story. Will I succeed? Who knows? I know one way for me to not succeed, and that's by not trying. And that's not in my blood. I'm going to always continue to try and always apply myself. You know, the only way that you can guarantee that you don't get something done is by never doing it at all, or even attempting to do it. Your kitchen will never get clean unless you pick up that broom. So tell me right now, are you going to pick up that broom? Okay, then. You know what I mean? That was pretty funny. That was interesting. Nonetheless, don't want to make the video too long. Please expect more videos moving forward on a daily, consistent basis. I'm going to do my best for that, especially since I'm going to have to be looking for another trucking company, or really going through everything. It's not easy for me to choose a trucking company when I've had so much stuff, you know, so much bad stuff happen to me at their own hands, and I do have my own trauma that I deal with. If you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, you could watch the video why I quit trucking. You can watch my childhood trauma video. You can watch my very first long form content video, Homeless Full Story. I ask that you guys please hit the like button, please drop a comment, please subscribe, and please watch a lot of my videos if you've not seen them before. 300 more hours before I can monetize YouTube, so I'm getting very excited for that. I also do have a Cash App if you want to bless me or show me love. I'll leave the link in the description of this video. It's AlienAscend. My Cash App is AlienAscend, the same as YouTube, and I want to thank you guys so much.